So John
True.
Cena, what do you think?
Um, I think, I mean, especially just based on recent history. I mean, he was obviously perfect for WWE.
Yeah,
Okay, so like he was the golden boy.
yeah,
So there's no way that he could have went anywhere else to be the golden boy, especially with how. I mean, we'll just be honest with how much money he was making and everything, and doing everything from Make a Wish and everything.
yeah.
Do you really think that TNA or Ring of Honor or Japan? Now, Japan, yes, they could afford to pay him because everybody
Yeah,
knows.
yeah. So
But
here's the funny thing about Cena. Like I will 100% say Cena's a WWE guy. However, I think Cena's one of those talents where I think anywhere he went, he could become a top guy like overnight.
I,
Now,
I don't.
now that's probably because of his history in WWE, but everybody likes to hate on Cena, but there's a reason he was the face of a brand for a decade.
Right, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But you also got to think of those TNA, even though they had money because of Panda Energy with Dixie Carter. They could afford to pay Hogan and everything and all that. But that's also because TNA ran out of the impact zone in
Right,
Florida.
right.
So Hogan technically can make his money, but he didn't have far to drive.
True, but here's the thing about Cena in like old school TNA. I don't think Cena would have done quite as well there. Or I shouldn't say he wouldn't have done well, but I don't think he would have been a good fit. Because TNA at that time was a real before Hogan and Bischoff came along, that was a real like it was kind of like the biggest indie.
Well,
It
right.
was all about wrestling, and Cena is more of that entertainment style.
Was see right, and see the funny thing is though is Cena then was all about being the five moves of doom type Cena,
Yeah,
which later on down the line near the end of his run, he was actually adding moves to his repertoire like the springboard stunner and the code red and everything else.
yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Here's the funny thing, though. I feel like to me, his attitude would have fit in perfectly. Like the early 2000s ruthless aggression era Cena, the attitude would have fit in well in TNA, but the in-ring style, I don't think would have.
no, 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 no.
Now, but let's think about this. If Cena had gone to a place like TNA and he changed his style to fit, could you imagine like a younger Cena and a younger AJ Styles and a younger Kurt Angle at the time? Because I know they wrestled and they had some really good matches. Like I think that could have been really interesting to see.
Right, but
And this is like I'd be happy if it happened, but I don't think it's going to happen. If Cena did like a one shot with AEW or New Japan, I think that would be amazing. It's never going to happen, but I
well, what's
think
funny?
it'd be. I mean, think about this. Think about this. Cena comes into AEW and he does a program with Omega. Like that's printing money.